How about, well, let's talk about a couple of shooters and who you would take first between Devin Booker of Kentucky, who was a freshman, and then R.J. Hunter of Georgia State, who was the darling of the NCAA tournament. Where do you come out on those two?
Well, they're both darlings in certain ways, and because of the way the NBA is playing right now, I think shooting is in such high regard. And we're talking about some of these other wings, and one thing about Stanley Johnson and Kelly Oubre and Justice Winslow is they're not elite shooters. None of them are yet. I think Hazonia is, and so I think Booker and R.J. Hunter are going to go higher than they might normally do because of the trends. I'm an R.J. Hunter guy. And I'm a Hunter guy in part, and I think we disagree a little bit on this one, Jay. I think he's a little bit more versatile than Devin Booker. And now part of that might be Booker was asked to play a very specific role at Kentucky, and he was just asked to do limited things, and maybe he's capable of more. But I saw R.J. Hunter do a couple of things this year that impressed me. One was his passing ability. He averaged about 3.6 assists a game. I think he can really see the floor well, and I think that was one of the things about basketball IQ that we got to see at Georgia State this year. And the other, he's got very long arms. He's got a 6'11 wingspan, and he can play those passing lanes. And I think that's another thing that he has as an advantage. I worry about his athleticism. I don't worry that he didn't shoot the ball particularly well this year. I think he had guys hanging on him almost every shot that he took at Georgia State this year. But I just think from a versatility standpoint, I think his upside is a Klay Thompson. I think he could be that type of player at the NBA level, where I see Devin Booker more as just a pure shooter, and I'm not sure what else he does.
Yeah, R.J. Hunter, I had a chance to watch him last summer at the LeBron James Skills Academy, and he's a deep range, conscious free shooter. Really impressive in the range that he's got as a shooter, and he does not think twice about pulling the trigger. Now, he had the ultimate green light at Georgia State playing for his dad, and they needed him to score. Whether he'll have that in the NBA, I would doubt it. I think he's going to have to be a little more selective with the shots that he takes, but he can catch and shoot. He can shoot it off the dribble, and I do think he's pretty decent at coming off screens and getting his own. I happen to think Booker, after having seen him a lot, is capable of more, and I agree with you, didn't show it at Kentucky because he was more of a catch-and-shoot type player based upon the personnel that they had. But I do think he's got a pretty good pull-up game. Getting his own shot may be an issue, but he's a much better defender than he gets credit for, and he can put it on the floor. He can drive it. And I think with his size, he's strong. He's a good athlete. I like his potential, and he can really shoot it. He gets it off quickly. He's got beautiful form. He's not going to have a problem shooting the ball in the NBA. It's another close call because you're going with two specialists. But I tend to think that Devin Booker is not going to be around very long. If he's around after 12, I would be very surprised.
I would be too. I think Devin Booker is going to go ahead of R.J. Hunter, and time will tell whether that's the right call. But I had a scout asked an interesting question the other day. Switch teams. Put R.J. Hunter on Kentucky. Put Devin Booker on Georgia State. Could Devin Booker have done what R.J. Hunter did at Georgia State? And how good would R.J. Hunter have been had he gotten all the open looks that Devin Booker got at Kentucky? I think that's one of the other difficult things to compare. They were in completely different situations this year.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know that it's even answerable. That's a tough. I'll have to think about that one, and I'll think about that while we're taking a break from these debates. If the presidential debates were this interesting, think how much fun politics would be. But we're debating point guards and bigs also. It's not all about wings. We've got other things to discuss in the NBA draft coming up on June 25th on ESPN.